Namaste, this is Vivek Bindur from Vivek Technology Integrators, and I am showing you a short presentation about an Android app that has been developed by Wake for Google Plus users who host scheduled Hangouts on Air. I shall follow the agenda of answering the questions why, how, and what next in that order. Hangout on Air is a very powerful technology from Google. There are many ways to describe it, but let me give you a few short points. It is a video conferencing facility available to everyone who has any sort of account with Google, maybe Gmail, maybe Google Plus, and it is free. It is a video recording facility since your video conference gets recorded as a video on YouTube. It allows anybody, anywhere in the world who has internet access to have their own TV broadcasting channel via YouTube. It allows people from different parts of the world socialize so much so that they would all feel as if they are in the same room. Because of this power, there are lots of scheduled shows that are broadcast live on air using this technology. With this immense power, you now have lots of responsibility. Technology from Google changes every day. This means to run a show smoothly, you need to understand the technology and be able to use it without difficulty. Scheduling a show means you have a fixed agenda and each item on the agenda needs to be covered in sufficient detail while still be able to cover all the items on the agenda within the time frame that you have fixed for the show. Now, if you are using traditional methods and running a meeting in a traditional way, in other words, as we now seem to call it in real life, you would have an agenda visible to yourself and you would use some sort of timekeeping device so that items on the agenda don't run over time and the meeting finishes on time. With powerful technology such as Google Hangout, handling that power properly is a task on its own, and you would be looking for tools to simplify your task. You would like to automate some tasks. At Wake, we use the Google Hangouts for our weekly blog and customer support and so on. And our weekly blog is a scheduled Hangout on Air. As a host of this weekly event, I often find that we often miss some of the points we want covered, or we overrun the time that we scheduled for our event. This happens mainly because the event is a live event. It is not a practiced drill as such. So, due to lively discussion happening amongst the participants, we quickly lose track of the time or agenda, or often both. Here is an app developed by Wake Technology Integrators. In fact, that's me. I shall show you a few screen captures from this app and explain. So, let me do a screen share. These are screenshots other than photos. On the left hand side, you can see the app on an Android phone, and on the right, you see the same app on an Android tablet. Let me briefly run through how this app can help you. This is a screen capture of my Android tablet, and the yellow arrow points to the app icon. The app is called RunSHOA, and this screen shows it on an Android phone. There you see the icon pointed by the arrow. When you start the app, you get this screen. Hopefully, this would be the most useful screen for you when you use this app. Let me read out the button labels for you. The green button you see there says welcome, and it is the current screen. Next to it on the right is a blue button which says manage. You would use this button to manage your agenda before you start the show. Using this button may remind you of looking under the bonnet of your car. The blue button next to that on the right says run. Taking the car analogy further, this would be your ignition key. When you want to start your show and run the show, you use this button. The blue button on the right edge says About, and this gives you more information about the app, my contact details, the app version, etc., etc. This would be akin to reading your car instruction manual, though I assure you this is far too simple in comparison. Let us look at what we get when we use the Manage button. This screen has the most buttons. As I said before, this is a bit like looking under the bonnet of your car. The reason why so many buttons are in one place is because, as a firm believer in keeping things simple, I want to keep the normal everyday interface simple and clutter free. You see, taking the car analogy, you wouldn't be looking under the bonnet of the car every day, would you? The welcome screen we just saw has the buttons that are more frequently used, and the buttons you see here would have cluttered the interface were they to be on the welcome screen. Let us briefly see what each button does. The welcome button takes you back to the welcome screen we just saw previously. Well, it closes the bonnet for you. With the Manage Current button, you can manage the current agenda that is used when you push the Run button. So, if you want to modify that agenda, you use this button. Let me go a bit Star Trek here. You use this button to plot your course to the next star system. I mean, you decide your roadmap for your show. The Import button allows you to import a text file in a specific yet easy to follow format, so that the app uses the data from the file as agenda information. Let me cover that special text format in a moment. You would see that it's quite simple, really. This allows you to share agenda files through email as accessed on your device. Normally, attachment files from emails get saved in a download directory, and this button shows you text files in your download directory. The Export button allows the current agenda data to be exported as text file into download directory, so that you can now attach this file as attachment to an email and share it with others, maybe your colleague or your co-host. The Quit button shuts down the app, the engine kill button if you like the car analogy. Let us check out the Manage Current button. On screen, the agenda is shown as a simple table. Column on the left has all the agenda items, and the column on the right has all the timings in minutes. The app allows you to edit the entire table. There is provision for 12 items on the agenda. In the screenshot, you see 2 empty rows at the bottom, which have hint text in orange color. Once you are happy with the agenda, you can click on the Save button and the agenda gets saved. This is on a phone. Please note that on the Manage Current Agenda screen, you don't need to worry about the file format, etc. But if you are going to edit or create the agenda file on a computer, let us say, you need to know the file format. So here we go. Here is the text format I mentioned earlier. The words in yellow color there, agenda item description, mean exactly that. You simply type in the description of the agenda item. You should be able to use almost any typeable character from your keyboard, including commas and so on, except the one which looks like a hat or a cap as shown there in yellow color. This hat or cap character is used as a separator between the two parts of an agenda item. We could have used the comma character, but then it would have prevented you from using a comma as part of the agenda description. So keep the file format, etc. as simple as possible. So we are using this hat or cap character, hoping that you do not use this character that often anyway. The number that follows, shown in yellow, is the number in minutes you are allotting for the item. So 3.5 there actually means 3.5 minutes. That is all really. Your text file can simply have entries like that separated by the hat character. No need for headings, no need for column widths, etc. I want to keep it simple, as you know. Bearing in mind the fact that you're not actually going to plot your warp speed travel through star systems using this app, the current limitations are acceptable in my view. This is an example agenda file. Let me give a few seconds on this slide for you to enjoy the simplicity of this file. There are 10 agenda items in that agenda there. In all practical cases, you can create a text file with your agenda items using your computer following the above format. Give it a file extension of .txt and you could send it to yourself with the file as an attachment and access the email on your mobile device. You then save the txt file on your device, start the RunSHOA app, import the file, and you would be good to run your show with the new agenda. Please note that you can have a maximum of 12 items in your agenda. Let us check out the import button. When you use that button, this is the screen you would see. It shows you a list of text files found in the download directory of your device and expects you to select the file which has the required agenda text in the specified format. When you spot a file you want to use for this purpose, all you need to do is push the file name that gets displayed for the corresponding text file. Once you select the file and it is of appropriate format, you would see the following screen. You would be shown the agenda items imported from the text file. The black pop-up message box at the bottom of the screen shows you the name of the file that was used for importing data. This message box disappears after a few seconds. You would not be able to modify any details on this screen. Instead, the green save button would be blinking, expecting you to press it. In case the data is not correct, you can choose the cancel button to cancel the import action. You could even edit the file elsewhere and try it again if you want. There, it has disappeared, the black box. When you select the save button, the data gets saved and you would see a confirmation message on the screen. Again, this message informs you the file name that was used for importing data. This message remains visible, expecting you to press the blue OK button. Let us explore the export button. When you use that option, this is the screen you would see. The details on the screen show data from the agenda that is in use, and if you press the export button, the same data gets written as a text file. In case you do not want to proceed with that action, you can select the cancel button. If you do select the export button, the data gets written as a text file. The text file will have a name that indicates the date and time at which the export was done. The file gets created in your download directory. You can then use the email app on your device to attach this file to an email to share the agenda. The confirmation screen shown here tells you the file name. Let us now look at the all-important Run screen. This is what you see when you press the Run button from the Welcome screen. You see the agenda shown again at the top with corresponding timings on the right-hand side. You see a great big green button in the middle of the screen which says Start. The green button will also be flashing to draw your attention, and you are expected to push this button when you want to start your event. Maybe you should do that as soon as you press the Start Broadcast button on your Hangout On Air show. There is a red button at the bottom of the screen there which says End Event. Just above the button row at the bottom, you also see a message that says total event is for 30 minutes. That's the sum total of all the minutes on the right hand column at the top. When you push the Start button, this is what you will see. The green button would stop blinking so as to minimize possibility of distracting you. Screen capture was taken about 3 seconds after the button was pushed, and so you see it displays remaining time 0057, meaning there are 57 seconds left for the current item. The remaining time keeps reducing, and the time for the item in the next line would keep increasing. The text on the green button has now changed. It actually shows the agenda item, and if in case you want to skip the rest of the time allotted for the item, you will be able to push the green button to skip it. Time since event start shows you how much time has elapsed since you started the show. The next line there actually shows at what time on the clock the event was started. When I captured this screen, it was slightly over 1:30 in the afternoon, and so it says 13:39. Now, apart from the green button and the red button, all other buttons are inactive at this stage and you will not be able to use them. This is because you should now be busy running your show. In case you want to skip the remaining time for the current agenda item and move on to the next item, you can do so as indicated by the text on the green button. When the remaining time reaches zeros, this is what happens. Your device makes the notification sound in place of the text remaining time, it now says time is up in flashing red letters, and the text on the green button has changed to say next, and the green button starts blinking again to draw your attention. You're supposed to finish up the sentences in your show and move on to the next item. You may want to push the green button as soon as you hear the notification sound. You would then see this screen. The green button would still be flashing, but the text now changes to indicate the next item on the agenda. In your show, you may want to inform the audience that you are moving on to the next item, and you can use the text shown on the green button to prompt you with what you are going to start next. You press the green button and the timer starts for the agenda item. The display changes to indicate the remaining time, etc. And you repeat this for all items on your agenda. When you have gone through all the items in the agenda, this is the screen you would see. The green button now would say event over, and pressing that again would re-enable the buttons at the bottom of the screen so that you can go back to welcome, manage, or about pages if you want to. Let me briefly show you what you can see when you push the about button. This screen has lots of information with scrollable text. You would be able to scroll up and down to read more information. There are several web links on this page which allow you to click through to go there. The last line of the text would give you specific information about the app, such as its version number, release date, etc. For further details and how to get this app, contact me. The details are on the screen now. Hopefully that was a useful app. Hope you will find it useful. The app is available on Google Play Store, and you can go and get it. Thank you for watching this short presentation. Bye.